Yo, we are back. We are back. Welcome back to McCoy Van Noy, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. I am one half of your gracious host, Mr. Gerald McCoy, the 93rd one on the world, big chest from the Midwest, the one who never fails. I only thrive because where am I from, killer? The south side of the 405. And the other half of my host
I almost forgot where you were from.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. And my gracious co-host is
Kyle Van Noy. Let's go. We in the building. We are ready to go today. We have so much to talk about. How you doing, G? Sorry to cut you off.
You know what?
I know I stole your flow a little bit.
No, you good. Hey, listen, killer. It's your world. It's your world. I'm just living in it. We're going to talk about week 4. We're going to get into week 5. But before we do all that, there was a Sunday night game. And,
yes, sir.
It was a lot of balling going on. You know what? Let's just get into it.
Let's get in it.
My dog made a statement last week. He said,
not just me, though. Not just me.
No. We ain't doing that. My dog made a statement. He said he felt disrespected. He said the league disrespected him because they said he's not a good football player. So he took it personal. He felt he could play at an all-pro Pro Bowl level. 3 weeks straight, getting a 2-piece. Sunday night, the lights is on. And last week in the show, he said he loved when the lights come on. He loved playing on Sunday night because you get to build up and then there's cameras everywhere. And they was at home and they had that black Air Force energy.
Oh, we did.
They got busy. But hold up. Not only did you ball, and there was a mutant running around on that field. There was a couple of them. That goddamn Derrick Henry, what, killer? I'm going to let you talk about it. You played the game. I was just watching. Let me let you talk about it.
No, you're doing good. You're on a roll. You got to keep going. I'm loving the energy. You got to roll it. Keep going. I got to grab something anyways. I got to grab something. So keep going.
Yeah. Hey, so let me tell y'all, man. You start the game. The Buffalo Bills are coming in hot. We don't know about the Baltimore Ravens. We know they got the blackout. We know they coming with the black Air Force energy. In the intro on TV, they had Ray Lewis, so I know he had them hyped. Whether it was on TV or whether it was in person, I know they came out hyped. But here was the thing. We knew Buffalo had been playing well. They was riding this cloud, riding high. Baltimore had shook back. They was a little up and down. They lost to Kansas City. They shook back versus the Cowboys, but then they lost to the Raiders. Then they shook back versus the Cowboys. So now, here we are. What's going to happen? Is Buffalo going to come into Baltimore and continue this reign? And that is not what happened. Defense gets started, and then they hand the ball. Oh, wait, hold up. Sunday Night Football player of the game, my boy Killer.
Got my first one.
He got his, and it won't be his last. When he said he's taking it personal, he meant it.
It took 11 years, G, but I got me one.
Stop playing with him. Yeah. Stop playing with him, my dog. And let me one handoff, it's mind-boggling that a person the size of Derrick Henry can outrun DBs at this stage in his career. Is he old? No, he's not.
No,
but
he's
the
not.
guy has 2,000 carries. 2,000. And he's still moving like that. It goes to show when you have talent, natural God-given gifts, genetics, but you partner that with a phenomenal work ethic, a certain mindset, taking care of your body, being a pro, you get Derrick Henry. The way he's still moving, the way he's still running, the way that run game is drawn up, it's already been number one for years. But then you bring in a guy like that, and then he performs like that with the lights is on. It's astonishing to see. But I want to point something out about Killer's performance. We've seen a trend of Baltimore allowing teams to come back. The momentum started to shift a little bit, okay? Buffalo scored, and then they got the ball back, and they were driving. When Killer got that sack fumble, it stopped the bleeding, and all the momentum that Buffalo was building stopped. So not only was it a sack fumble, it was a key point in the game that if you, to the untrained eye, you might look at it as, oh, it's a sack fumble. No, that was key because I think y'all were only up maybe 17 at the time, maybe. So if they score
I want to say it was only 11, G.
Only 11, yeah.
10.
That's what I'm saying. So if they score, now we got a fight on our hands. So that was a key play in that game, man. Killer. Tell us how it felt, baby.
Yes, sir. I mean, honestly, being in the All Blacks at the bank is it's like a movie, right? You know what type of time it is. It is literally the Black Air Force energy walking into the building. You know what type of time it is. And, Kyle Hamilton said it before the game. He was getting interviewed on NBC, and, they asked him, who else should we should be watching tonight on defense? And my dog said anybody with the black shirt, anybody with the black jersey. That already set the tone right there. Yeah. That's a fire statement right there.
That is a fire line.
I love that. And it was just that we took that energy that night. Great game plan, and we just executed it defensively. Honestly, you can go back and look at the game. There was a couple runs, but there was one long pass that Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's going to make a play. But all in all, we executed the game plan really, really well, and it was awesome to really take what the coaches give you like that and then bring it to life on a football field and execute at a high level. All 11 of us locked in. It's fun. And then, Derrick Henry, I'm still in awe about that run. 87 yards, almost 22 miles an hour at 30 years old. And then the most impressive thing, G, this dude was in the gym the next day early going to work. Like,
that's why he is who he is, man.
And that's why he is who he is, like you just said. It's impressive. He is one of one, an alien, a mutant, but he's a baller. And then he's a great teammate, too. Like, just talking shop with him, I got to get to know him a little bit more. I sit next to him on the airplane ride on away games. So just getting to know him as a person, as a player, then to see him success, it's that bonding thing where it's like you become a team when you get to know people a little bit more and see what they're about, their family, all that. Derrick Henry, he's just a good ass dude too.
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. When you be out there, your swag is stupid. You got the sleeves, the orange sleeves with the visor.
It's a little tint. I got a little tint because of the eye. They gave me a little tint.
It's clean though.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's clean,
everybody's been not making fun, but curious about this.
Keep going, Killer. I got to answer this. Keep going.
Yeah, no. Everybody's been asking me about this celebration that we were doing in the game because it looked a little weird and awkward, but honestly, it's inside jokes. Nobody's ever going to know. We are in the building. I'm in the building with teammates all the time, 24/7. It seems like I see them more than I see my family during this time. So the inside jokes that you guys get are just the best. And so to be able to do inside jokes on a football field with your young boys and have a good time, I think it's well worth it. Don't care how it looks. It's a good time. It's a party. We were partying in the backfield this weekend, and it was fun. And more importantly, I know everybody focuses on the now, but we also remember when we started 0-2 too. A lot of people had to say, and then 2-2. And I'm going to use Kyle Hamilton again because he's one of our leaders on our team. The more he speaks and the more he gets comfortable, he really drops a lot of gems. He said something that was true. We didn't win the Super Bowl. We just got another win. And that's true. We're 2-2. That's the reality. We're going into Cincy now on the road, a division opponent. They're going to be really well prepared. They're going to be good. They've been playing at a high level offensively. They have an opportunistic defense. So it's going to be a competitive game. So it's like flipping the page to that. Celebrate, enjoy that win for what it is. But now it's back to work. We got a tough one coming up, and we're excited for the challenge.
Yeah, and I kind of want to stay there for a second, and then we're going to get into yesterday's games and another team that played pretty good on Sunday, the Buccaneers. I mean, obviously, we got to talk about them. But quick, can you let the fans know, talk to them a little bit, because you have 2 rings. So I forget who it was. Man, I wish I remember. It was recently. It was just a couple days ago. They said we have to know how to win. Losing is one thing, but knowing how to win. After a win, when you go into a game where this is a team where, like, you may feel like, like the Buccaneers. They won versus Detroit, then they played Denver.
Mm-hmm.
How is the preparation for a team of knowing how to win? Okay, we won. It doesn't matter the opponent. It could be a team that's undefeated. It could be a team that's the worst team in the league. Talk to the fans a little bit about preparing for the next game and knowing how to win, because obviously you know how to win and move on to the next because you got 2 rings. So talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, that's a good one, because I think about my time in New England and the 2018 season, what you're talking about at the beginning of the season, where you got to figure out how to win each and every year. I don't care if you have a Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame quarterback. Every year is different, and you have to figure and find a way out how to win. I think in 2018, it just resonates with this so much. We started that season off 2-2. We were 1-2 at the beginning. We beat the Texans, and then we lost to the Jaguars and then the Lions on the road. So everybody kind of the same thing. The world is falling apart. You know, they're cooked. Brady's cooked. Blah 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 blah. And you got to turn that page really quickly. And the way you have to do it in September is you have to find a way to win and improve by winning. So the Chiefs are a great example, is that they're not at their final yet. They're building. They've had some losses and some hits on offense, but they continue to find a way to win and get better. And that's what you got to do in the month of September and October. And then November and December, you got to finally hit your stride and hope that you're peaking into the postseason. But really, the beginning of the season and September and October is you have to get better, but you have to do it while winning. And you do that by continue to not turn the ball over, things like that we can get into. But I think that's what the name of the game is. I'm going to repeat it one more time, is you have to find ways to win while getting better.
And it's crazy you mentioned the Chiefs, because they are 4-0.
Yep.
They lost Rashee Rice, they believe, to an ACL, which is unfortunate. But we talked about, I was on Rich Eisen, and which I promoted, McCoy and Van Noy.
Yes,
so
sir.
Rich Eisen's crowd, they know about McCoy and Van Noy now.
Yes.
Anyway, we was talking about the Chiefs, and he was like, what is making them, because they don't look the best, but they keep winning. I said, because they're finding a way to win. And one thing Greg Schiano, who learned from Bill Belichick, taught us was fourth quarter, crunch time is technique time. And they're finding ways to win. And, I mean, that game wasn't pretty on Sunday, but they won 17-10. Mahomes threw 245 and a touchdown. Kelsey set the franchise receptions record with 89 yards and 7 catches. Chris Jones had 2 sacks. They just found a way to win, man. Like, they just keep finding ways to win. And that's what makes them so tough is, they just find it. They just, in the end, they find a way to win. And that was Sunday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there was a couple Monday night games.
That's a sign of a good team, though, G. It's a sign of a good team. I mean, like you said, in those moments, they're blocking, tackling, and executing, taking care of the football when it really matters.
Yeah, and doing your job. Like a lot of people think that's a Bill Belichick moniker, and it's like, well, of course I'm going to do my job. But when the game is on the line and you feel like you see something, or I need to go make a play, a lot of people don't understand how often that happens. And if I have the B gap, but I think I can swim this guy into the A, or I jump out of my gap, and then these are the greatest players in the world. They might stop. There was a play, Lamar, he was in the gap. He karaoke backwards and went into another gap. You get out of your gap And then that happens, boom, they break for a first down and game over. When all you had to do, this is third down, you get a stop, get the ball back, give your offense a chance. By doing your job. And the best teams do their job when it's necessary, when it's crunch time. There's ebbs and flows and ups and downs in the game. But I told Levante David when they beat Detroit, I FaceTimed him and said, man, that has to be a great feeling. He said, G, you have no idea the feeling of being on the right end of a very close game. Because for so many years in Tampa, I was on the wrong end of it. We wasn't getting blown out. We wasn't getting destroyed. I remember in 2017, the Patriots came to Tampa Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
Freaking our kicker lost. Our kicker missed 4 field goals. He missed 4 field goals. And we lost, I think it was like 17-13 or something like that. And
that
it's
was
like
a grimy game.
That was a grimy game. I'm like, how do we keep? I said, he can't keep getting away with this. Like
and the year before, you guys, your team won the Super Bowl. The Bucs, that's your team, won the Super Bowl. I think they lost a bunch of
very close games,
and their defense was going crazy. I remember their game they had against the Giants that year, where I think they had like 3 picks, both teams, and like touchdowns on defense, and it was a high scoring game.
Shaq Barrett had 4 sacks in that game.
It was a crazy game. I remember that game. But you lost it because wouldn't execute and do your job at the end.
Not knowing how to win, man. And y'all, the thing is, y'all know how to win, and that's going to carry over. Kansas City knows how to win. Somebody who's struggling right now, though.
Yeah.
The Titans and the Dolphins. A game was played.
Yes.
It was a game. It was played. And, the Dolphins, your heart goes out to them because the season just started. Just not going right. It started with the Tyreek Hill situation. Now you got the Tua situation. It's just the Dolphins they going through it right now. The Titans was able to get a win. Mason Rudolph came in, and he did what he was supposed to. Tony Pollard looked good yesterday, and they got a 31-12 win, man. The Titans, they looked. Will Levis, he been going through it, and I hate to see him go down with an injury, but he's
got a bunch of memes right now. They're just adding it.
They said he has a meme streak.
Yeah, that meme streak's crazy.
That's crazy. Tough. That's tough. So Titans won that one 31-12, but the Lions-Seahawks game was really good. I know if you look at the score, 42-29, it doesn't tell the story of how that game went, but the Lions, shout out to Jared Goff for sure, but the Lions, man, they just found different ways to get into the end zone. Yeah. But this is what I'll say about Seattle in this second half. That second half, they came out to play.
Yeah.
I don't know what Coach McDonald said to them at half, but their first 3 drives their shortest drive was 70 yards.
Yeah.
To score.
To open the third quarter. I mean, what a methodical drive that was with Geno Smith. The run, play action, and then hitting the tight end down the sideline for a touchdown. It was impressive. But I want to go back real quick, G, because I want to just talk. I got to give love to the Titans' run game.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when Mason Rudolph goes into the game after Will Levis gets hurt. Being able to run the ball in a game like that and your defense stepping up, that was inspiring to watch. When your quarterback goes down, you got a backup that's, figuring out on the fly, and he's able to get down and get field goals. I feel like that's a win. And then as the game goes on, the offensive line and the run game with Tony Pollard kind of gets the Miami Dolphins down a little bit more because they're just trying to hang on. They were struggling on offense. That's a whole different story. But I just want to give props to that run game and the defense of the Titans to just continue to battle that game. They looked really, really good running the ball and playing defense in that game. And then the Lions-Seahawks game was also a fun watch on Monday night. It looked like it was going to be a blowout early. The one thing I'll say to our fans that watch is I feel like the Lions played bully ball, right? I think they were running the ball. They were play action. Goff was 18 for 18. But the most impressive thing to me was the first touchdown drive of the Lions, because they wanted to just run the ball. They wanted to make a statement in this game that Mike McDonald's defense from last year when we were playing with the Ravens is not going to do what the Seahawks wanted to do against them in this game, which was just play fast, physical, every snap. And the defense looked like they had a lot of injuries. I know Leonard Williams was out. They had a couple edges out. They had Jerome Baker out. I know they were missing a lot of guys. And I think they just wanted to go into that game, and Lions wanted to ride that O-line pause and just play smash mouth football, and they did that.
Yeah, they did. And that's what we go when we break it down in a locker room or in meetings when they say impose your will. That's what they mean. We're going to go out there and do what we want to do and play our brand of football, very similar to what y'all did on Sunday. Y'all went out there, y'all played y'all's brand of football, and it worked for the Detroit Lions. And, Seattle, man, I gotta give them love because of the injuries and the fact that they came back out in the second half and fought like that. But it goes to show what you said at the end of the game, execution. They had the first down, okay? But then Tyler Lockett, with how he ran, they got the penalty for the offensive pass interference, and they ended up having to punt. But then they come back, they have a drive going, they're trying to score before the 2 minute warning. And I mean, the time's ticking down, and the center just snapped it. And Geno, fortunately, he caught it, but they all over the place at that point. They didn't execute properly. And, they fought back, they fought hard, but it came down to execution and who executed at the end of the game and did their job the right way. And that's how the Lions ended up coming out with a win. So
two things I want to add to that game. Impressive that Goff was able to go 18 for 18. I believe that's a record. That's impressive. But to be able to do that, they had to run the ball and get that run game going.
They ran the lights out the ball.
Into that. And then Montgomery caught a pass in the flat. Witherspoon comes up, tries to lay the boom on him. It doesn't even phase him, and then he runs for 40 yards. To me, that's again goes into that bully ball mentality that probably arguably the best player on Seattle's defense, who is a DB that likes to hit, just kind of hits him, goes off, and Montgomery breaks a couple more tackles and keeps it going. That's impressive to me. That's another statement in the game, and it just goes to show you that what type of time the Lions are on. They're ready to play anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere, and that's the kind of the mentality Dan Campbell has with that culture. It's awesome to watch from afar. And Seattle, like you said, not a front-running team. Didn't sulk. DK Metcalf has a fumble in the game, comes back, almost scores a touchdown, and was a key part in the receiving of Geno Smith. But just to keep coming back, I admire that too. They didn't lay down. Mike Mack had them boys going in the second half, and it turned out to be a really competitive, fun game.
I'll tell you what I noticed. They don't need to get nobody else all black uniforms. That is a cheat code around that is a cheat code around the NFL right now. That all black uniform is putting boys to sleep right now. Speaking of putting people to sleep.
Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah, no, I thought they was fire. But, the things happen in the world. We can't control Mother Nature. Thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected by the hurricane in Florida. I reached out to a lot of the players and my people down in Florida. Everybody's okay, but a lot of people were affected. So, again, thoughts and prayers go out to you. But the game still had to be played. And Philly came in to Tampa where, Jalen Hurts, his Achilles heel has been a Ty Bowles defense, and it showed on Sunday. But, we'll take the win, but they were pretty beat up. He didn't have his 2 number 1 receivers. He didn't have Lane Johnson. But I also believe that even with that happening, you still can go in and perform because the Bucs did it going into Detroit. We had tons of injuries on defense. even lost Vita, and we still came out with a win. So you still have to play the game, and you got to play it properly. And I love how the Bucs bounced back from the game with the Broncos. They showed that is an anomaly and that's not their brand of football. And, I mean, Baker balled out.
Yeah.
347 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed for another one. And I just got to at some point, we are going to put Mike at the level he should be. We're going to talk about Mike Evans at the level he should be. So Mike became the Buccaneers all-time scoring leader with 94 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Definitely needs to get more love, G.
3 people in the history of football have been the all-time leading, non-kickers, all-time leading scorers of the franchises. Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, and Mike Evans.
Oh, my goodness.
At some point, what's happening is, and obviously we're not putting Mike Evans in the Jerry Rice conversation, but there's a bunch of Jerry Rice stats that Mike is like breaking or he's getting close to breaking. So when you're getting close to breaking a lot of stuff that the greatest of all time has done, at some point we have to say, you know what? We need to start talking about that dude as one of the greatest of all time because he is.
He is a Hall of Famer, bro.
There should be no thought about whether he's a Hall of Famer. And to me, I might be biased, but to have the streak he's had, to be with all the with the 1,000-yard streak,
all the
different quarterbacks he's played with, he's won a Super Bowl. He's continuing what he's doing. All-time leader in points for his franchise. Forget the All-Pros, forget the Pro Bowls and all that. That guy has a first ballot Hall of Fame resume. So whether you want to, we don't need to question whether he's getting in anymore. We need to talk about whether he's a first ballot or not. But Mike is incredible. Another player that was incredible, freaking Levante David. Another guy that we need to be talking about for the Hall of Fame. Forget the Pro Bowls, forget the All-Pros. This guy had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, almost had a pick. He was all over the place. Levante is the timeless wonder, year 13, and he still looks like he's in year 3, 4, 5, and 6, man. These guys are playing lights out. But Baker is one of a couple guys this year. Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, guys who didn't start that are not on the team that drafted them, that are playing well on other teams. And before the season, or before last season, I kept telling people I've had a conversation with Baker. He keeps trying to put out there that I've been injured. I haven't been able to prepare properly. I'm on this team. I'm learning this playbook. I'm this, and this. And what Baker's doing right now goes to show when a team has confidence and belief in you, when the people around you believe in you, what can happen. And to that point, something happened on the broadcast where
I was literally going to ask you that next.
There was a quote of Baker said they brought me in to make work fun again for the guys that were not having fun when Brady was here. I honestly, Baker said it was taken out of context, and I believe so too. There's different ways to lead, okay? Brady is very intimidating. He's the greatest of all time. He's the greatest of all time. And when he comes to work, he's not coming to work for the BS. You got to think, Brady was 44, 42, 3, 4, 5 years old. Baker's in his early 30s. If he's 30, Baker's in his early 30s. What we do at different age groups, we operate completely different. But Brady also knows, hey, I've won 7 of these things. I won 1 here. So if you think that the way I do it doesn't work, I mean, obviously it does. That's why Jordan in The Last Dance said, I'd never asked anybody to do something that I wasn't willing to do. I know what it takes to win a championship. And if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way.
Facts.
And for Brady, what Baker was saying is, this is just how I am. And this is how I lead. It's a lot lighter. I got handshakes with guys. I'm more energized. I'm doing all this other stuff. Whereas Brady, it was more of a business. It's business. I am operating to win championships, and I do it the only way I know how, and I'm not apologizing for it. Yeah. And I think people took Brady defending the way he does it as a slight at Baker, And it was more of a, I'm not apologizing.
I don't think it was levels to it, right?
It is.
To sit here and say it's not. It's kind of
exactly.
To Tom's point. I think he was getting across was like, I'm not here. This is my job. Like my fun comes in with the winning, which I totally get. And I think it was more of just the statement of the 7 championships. And if you don't have one, you should be working to get one.
Yeah, and he's thinking like, stressful is not winning the championship. Yeah. And it is, because he's won 7 of them. He knows. Yeah. He knows my son is in Little League, and almost every year he's been in Little League, he's won some type of championship, city championship, a tournament championship, whatever. He's got all these rings, and he be doing the Tom Brady, walk around with his rings and stuff. And one time he won, and I said, son, does that championship feel good? He said, oh yeah, man, Pops, it feel great to win, this and that. I said, that's your motivation. My motivation was, I don't know what that feeling feels like, so I'm going to do everything in my power to feel that feeling. And I correlated what he's doing right now to Tom Brady. I said, the reason you see Tom be the way he is because he knows the feeling of winning the championship. And he never not wants to feel that feeling. Yeah. And I told my son, that's your motivation. How you feel right now, you need to work to where you never not feel this. And that's all Tom is saying. It was stressful to me to not win championships. That's what stress was to me. That's a stressful work environment, not winning. Yep. And I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I will add though. I do want to go back because for me, I see eye to eye with a lot of things that Tom said, but I also see eye to eye with Baker said, and I totally agree of the taking out of context thing. And I don't think he was sliding the GOAT at all. But I want to positively talk about Baker, about just his chemistry right now with his players, the chemistry he has with Chris Godwin, the chemistry he has with Mike Evans. He just seems in tune right now. He's making the game plans come to life. He's given each game plan a movie. Forget the Broncos game, but every game that he's played in this year offensively has been a movie for him. And he's done a really, really good job of being in sync with the O-line, getting the screen game to White going, and then to get his stars the ball of Godwin and Evans. And he's done a really, really good job. And it's awesome for somebody who, got kicked out of an organization and got put the blame, like, we can do better without you. And then he's got to be like a journeyman for a little bit, finding, his spot where it's going to come to life again. Had to go through Carolina. That was not very fun. Then got a shot with the Rams. Turned out to have some success there, and then eventually get a shot with the Buccaneers that he was in a QB battle, was trashed for an entire camp, and then finally he got named the starter and then has not looked back. I give props to people like that. People like that, their mental toughness is legit. Like, I don't know how many people we have in today's world that just stop doing stuff or stop trying or give up. And I think Mayfield needs a lot of props for not listening to the noise and not giving up and, continue to work at his craft. I give a lot of props to Baker. He needs a lot of love for that, but it's still early in the season and he's just got to continue the success. But I like to give people flowers for overcoming and not giving up. I respect that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. What you got to do is you got to be resilient. You got to have confidence. And that's what he's always had. He walked on to Texas Tech, ended up being a true freshman starter. Once the guy who was there got hurt, he was a true freshman walk-on starting quarterback. Got newcomer of the year. He walked on to obviously one of the best schools in the country, in Oklahoma. And he became the starter there. Not only did he become the starter, he won the freaking Heisman. It was the first overall pick. So resiliency and confidence and playing with a chip on your shoulder has always been who Baker is. And I honestly believe that's what's carrying him and what's going to carry the Bucs throughout this season. Baker just looks like a winner. There was a play where he escaped a a sack and he got hit and it looked like he got crumpled and then he spun out and went and made a play. I mean, when he's running the ball, he's running angry. That touchdown he scored.
Yeah,
I mean, he ran over the
ran
DB
him
and then
over,
stood over him at Baker. He's just one of those guys, man. And you want to play well for him. You want to win with a guy and for a guy like that. And then being around him, I know he's a great leader. Everything I hear from coming out from OU and Tampa is just people love being around him. He's infectious and just such a great leader. And I look forward to what they can continue to do.
Yeah.
But there's
let's talk about I want to transition. We got to talk about the Eagles a little bit more. I know you mentioned it earlier about their struggles and missing some guys. Can you touch on defensively what you think about them? Not just as a player since you've played, but as your analyst that you are in the media world. Can you touch on their kind of struggles on defense? And then if you want to touch on offensively too, of where do you think they can go?
Yeah, so when I'm watching them defensively, the Eagles, when they were the Eagles, 2017, when they went back to the Super Bowl, was it 2022? I believe it was, 2022. What they did is they were dominant up front. They were very dominant up front. The last Super Bowl they went to, they led the league in sacks, almost broke the single-season sack rate. They had 70 sacks.
Yeah, they was going crazy.
They were going crazy, and that's what they're missing.
Yeah.
They're too inconsistent up front. They got the two young guys, and I said before the season, man, Fletcher Cox not being there, it doesn't matter whether he was older or not. People are forgetting Fletcher Cox had like 40 tackles, 7 sacks, all that. That was his last year as an old man, and he decided to go sit down. He could have kept going.
He
so
said,
when
nah,
you lose when you lose a leader, later been to 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl, he was good. When you lose a guy like that in the middle, somebody has to step up. BG, Brandon Graham, he was in my draft class. He's been playing for a long time, and he's still playing well. He's on the edge. He can only do so much. These young guys have to step up in the middle. Now, last week, Jalen Carter went crazy on the Saints.
The Saints, yeah.
Okay, but you got to be consistent. And this is why when people talk to me, when I analyze guys, and they say, who's the top in the league, or who's the best at this position, the top 5 or top, that's why I don't crown people off one performance.
Yeah.
And when I say one performance of ranking people, one season. I don't bump people up off one game. I have to see consistency, and they're just not being consistent up front. Sweat, they're not getting nothing from him. You know, he's got to be more, and somebody has to step up in the middle, which puts pressure on the back end. They brought in Devin White. I don't know what happened with that. You know, I don't know what happened with Devin. He was supposed to be a guy. Kobe Dean, he's doing the best he can. You know, it's putting a lot of pressure on the back end. You know, and it starts from the front. You know how it goes. It starts from the front, which helps the middle, which helps the back end. Rush and coverage have to work together, but they can't. They're struggling to stop the run. Yeah. You got to earn the right to rush the passer. So if you can't stop the run, you definitely not going to get to rush the passer. And when you do, we're just going to play action you, and here we go. Because now we got you on the ropes. And then you flip that to the offensive side of the ball. I said it before the season. They're going to see what losing Jason Kelce does to an offense, especially a young quarterback. It does not matter what we've seen from Jalen Hurts, whether he was a MVP runner-up or whatever. We also seen Carson Wentz be the runner-up and almost win MVP if he didn't get injured. Yeah. But then there was a drastic fall-off for whatever reason. When you have a guy like Jason Kelce, he makes it easier on a quarterback. I've seen it with Ryan Khalil and what he did for Cam Newton. He made it easier on him. And even this season, the O-line has been calling out all the protections. They've been pointing out who does what, making it. And what
Jalen has to do. It's such a good point, G. It's such a good point. I don't think it's been hit enough about losing Jason Kelce. I think it's been hit losing the receivers, right? But you made a very awesome point about Jason Kelce of making it less stressful for the quarterback. Jalen Hurts not having to do none of that. He gets to learn at a snail pace of learning all the protections, so it's not overwhelming in his young career. Just knowing Jason Kelce's got it, like, down, say hi, you know. Right. Now he has to add another whole layer into his game, which I'm sure he's already done, but that's just another added thing that should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, and if you see the very first game, the QB center exchange was all over the place. Okay, Lane Johnson was getting some false starts because of the snap count. And then their center has been getting a lot of lineman downfield penalties simply because they're not on the same page. The timing for these RPOs, because the offenses are very RPO based. The timing and the amount of time you have to wait. College, I think it's 2 seconds, and the NFL is 3 seconds before you can go downfield. They're leaving too soon. So the timing on that has to be better, but also Jalen Hurts has to do better with not just one read and then panicking. He has to learn to go through his progressions, which leads me to why people need number one receivers. Losing your number one receiver and your starting center.
Brown.
Yeah, and your starting center, it's tough. I'm not off the Eagles. These guys will get healthy. Yep. Lane Johnson had a concussion. He'll be back.
Saquon still.
Saquon's still playing well. Devontae will be back. AJ will be back. And the Eagles will be just fine. Now, defensively, I can't say the same because they're healthy. And I just don't know what they're going to do. These guys up front got to be more consistent. But I'm not off the Eagles. I still think top to bottom, talent-wise, they're the best team in the division. Are they playing the best? No. And we're going to get into that.
Washington might want a word.
Before we do, we're going to take a break, hear from my sponsors, and we'll be right back. Yo, we are back. I want to talk real quick about some surprises this season.
Ooh.
Some surprises we didn't expect. And if we said we expected these couple surprises, we'll all be lying. The Vikings are, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. The Vikings are 4-0, and the freaking Commanders are 3-1, and Jay Daniels is playing lights out. Yes, the
with
Vikings.
Sam Darnold?
Are we really having a conversation? Sam Darnold might be in the MVP combo.
Put some respect on his name.
Sam Darnold might be in the MVP combo. Hey,
he should. He should. Hey, I don't care what anyone says. He should.
That defense is legit. Some teams you just see it, and the way they're playing right now, they're not. When you talk about defenses like what they have, you usually can name like guys. You just name guys. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys
can name a guy though. What's his name?
Gink. Oh my dog, Gink. He keep doing his thing. Yeah. But like y'all's defense, man, you guys, you got piece. All right. So y'all's defense being good, being great, no surprise. The Vikings have pieces, but it's not like names. Where usually when you have top defenses, you just list. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, can I say something for a sec? Because I do feel some type of way about that because I also played in a system that obviously you give Bill Belichick a lot of credit, rightly so deserved. But you also have really good football players. You had Devin McCourty there, a defensive player of the year, and Stephon Gilmore, Patrick Chung, who was there for a decade, unbelievable. Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins when he was there, a lot of good defenders. And I want to say the same thing for the Vikings. Like they have a lot of good defenders. They have Stephon Gilmore again. They have Harrison Hitman Smith. Smith been there for a long time, has been good before the defense was there, that's currently there. And now he's still a baller. You have Byron Murphy, that still is a very, very good corner. You have Van Ginkel, who's very, very well. Now, I think it's about the other guys that you don't necessarily know their names that are having great seasons. There's the safety. He was number 44 last year. I think he switched his jersey. I'm going to look his name up because
Cam Bynum. We can't forget about Cam Bynum.
Yeah. So I do think, as media, we need to give more props to those names because it's Brian Flores' defense. He's coordinator, but it's these players that are playing, executing, and playing at high level football.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's on both sides of the ball. And, it's really early to determine who's who, but I believe that the Vikings are legit. And this trend will continue. I love the way Sam Darnold is playing. And, he's playing with confidence. Like I said, man, when you got a organization or a group of guys who believe in you, and when we were hearing at a training camp how good Sam Darnold was playing, it's like, yeah, I mean, he'd give you a couple, whatever. But nah, he looks like a completely different player, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Vikings, which leads me to
hold on. I gotta name a couple more because they're balling out. Harrison Phillips, he just got paid. Can't believe I forgot him. Very, very good dude. Has been hooping in the middle. Jonathan Grenard. Ooh wee. He had 3 sacks 2 weeks ago. Been hooping. Shaquille Griffin, Shaquille Griffin had a pick in last week's game. He is also playing good
in this league for a long time.
Jones, I believe, has 4 sacks. He's playing very, very well. So you have a lot of players on this team that are hooping. Kamu Grugier-Hill, my teammate, has had 2 picks back-to-back. So I want to give credit to the defensive players because they're actually playing very, very well.
Oh, yeah. Now that defense is lights out, and they're going to be like the offense is putting up points, but the way that defense is playing, they are very stingy. They're taking the ball
Dallas
away.
Turner, young boy, coming off the edge. I mean, they got ballers, bro.
They do. And I did a segment on them on NFL Network, just kind of breaking down what they're doing. What they're doing is they're on the attack at all time. They're never on their heels. And
I played in that defense.
You never know where, if there's a blitz. See, people think of the blitz and they think, oh, it's only on the pass. No. First and second down,
they blitz everything.
Man, listen, you don't know where people are coming from. And then they give you so many different looks. They give you a blitz look, they drop to a cover 3. They drop to a cover 2. You never know. They may show man, and then the safety and the linebacker may switch spots. You never know. The corner and the safety may switch. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's giving offenses fits. And this week, I don't expect it to change. The Jets, we'll get into it, but they're playing the Jets, who's all over the place offensively. So this team is playing great, which leads me to another surprise. The freaking Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. We've seen a lot of people before the season saying by mid-season, in the first few weeks, maybe, we might be seeing people thinking Jaden Daniels should have been the first overall pick. The way this guy is consistently playing, the way they are playing, I remember when the Bucs beat them in week 1, everybody was like, it's the Commanders, whatever. That win is looking a lot better now because of how they're looking. The Washington Commanders are playing the best out of all the teams in the NFC East. If they keep this up, they're going to win the NFC East.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels, if you take the R from the side of his name, he's playing like an MVP. He's playing so well. He's playing with confidence. He's playing with swag, and he's talking to people on the field. I mean, he's talking
trash.
This is a guy fresh out of college. He's telling people, hey, you can't mess with me. You can't see me. I'm killing you. And that's what you want from your young quarterback, a guy playing with confidence. You seen Scary Terry in the locker room. I ain't seen him smile that big since he got in the league. He dancing, they having a, man, listen, and it's incredible to see.
When you got 1,000 quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, for sure. And then Cliff Kingsbury going back to Arizona, the team that wrote him off and said he couldn't do it. He had a quarterback in Kyler Murray who was in the same old Heisman Trophy winner, dual threat quarterback, same type of system. And they're showing, hey, listen, it does work. It can work. Yeah. And it's working for them right now. How you feel about the Commanders?
I'm going to go with Dan Quinn for a sec. Just his impact, his culture that he's brought in, the new defensive scheme has them boys playing fast on defense. But you just got to give him a lot of love because it's got to be so hard. I mean, I haven't done it, but I've seen it, to go into a whole place and change the entire organization. And this one has had kind of a cloud over it. We don't need to get into that conversation, but it's had a cloud over it. Hasn't been looked at very high on people's lists for a long time. And he's brought life into the DMV area. Like they got something to cheer for. They're a very, very respectable team. They're putting on a great product. And Dan Quinn and his energy, the backwards hat, all of these vibes, like he's got it. He has done a great job of mastering relationships and getting the best out of your players and doing it a different way. Like we talked about earlier, different way from Tom to Baker. This is the same thing. It's different. Energetic, love, compassion, hard work. Like, it's just different, and it's vibing with the Commanders right now, doing a very good job. Cliff and Daniels, unbelievable. I think they had like a crazy record of like 26 drives or something stupid like that. Scoring, I don't know. I could be making that stat up. I hope you can correct me on that.
No,
but it was
Jay Daniels set an efficiency record of some sort. Yeah.
I know he's just been killing it as a rookie, and it's been impressive to watch. And I just love how a coach can go into a place like that, get teamed up with the right players and the right pieces, and just get to work and change, the outlook of an entire team. Yes, it's still early, but to be able to do what he's done in his coaching career with a rookie quarterback who you could argue, I really liked him coming out of the draft because he's a pocket passer first. I'm always going to go with the pocket passer. It's just an added element if you can scramble. And Jaden Daniels has really come alive for them. And like you said, Scary Terry, seeing him in the locker room, that was awesome. I love that. I love that for him.
I love seeing it, and everything I've heard about Dan Quinn, for anybody who's played for him, he's a joy to play for, and he loves on his guys. Dan Quinn, actually, after I got injured with the Cowboys, was calling me a lot because I was expected to sign back with the Cowboys, and we were building a relationship. I still text him and wish him well to this day. And he's just a great guy. So I can only imagine what it's like being in the building with him every day. But staying with the Jaden Daniels and what he's been able to do, how you felt about him coming out of college. A lot of people had Caleb Williams as number one, so people had Jaden Daniels. Well, we're a month in. Caleb hasn't looked the best, and Jaden, we're saying, could be in the MVP combo. Should the Chicago Bears panic already? Should Caleb Williams panic already?
No.
Like, let's be honest, man. It's been a month.
It's been
a month. Let's relax for a sec. These guys, this is why I had the conversation of why are we rushing quarterbacks into playing right away? I understand they have to because
They don't have to. They don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. When you don't have a viable backup and you're getting rid of everybody to make this guy because you believe this is the guy, he's going to play right away, this and this. This is why Tom, who's a 7-time champion, the GOAT, said that these quarterbacks are not being developed at programs in college. They're just going there, win games, try and get to the league, but they're not being developed in a program to where they are learning to play the game. And Caleb is having to grow up through trial by fire is what, for lack of better words, is trial by fire. But people in Chicago, do not panic. Did they win Sunday? Yes, you did. So, come on now. The goal is to win. The goal is to win.
It goes back. I agree. And it also goes back to what I said earlier in the show by you're trying to get better and still win, especially early. And I believe Caleb's doing that. He's showing flashes. Has shown flashes since preseason, and even yesterday in yesterday's game, he showed flashes, had an awesome throw for a touchdown to DJ Moore. Ooh, that was clean.
Yeah.
Toe tap. So he's getting better and he's showing signs. And then if they can continue to develop this run game, it'll open up the play action. That's what that Waldron OC came from with the Seahawks. That's how they had a lot of success, giving Kenneth Walker the ball, Geno Smith being able to hit it downfield off play action. I think continue as time goes. It's still early. I think they'll still develop with Swift, who got going yesterday and helped Caleb out a little bit more, give him more time to read and process. And then getting Keenan Allen back is always a success when you get a Hall of Fame player like that. So his development is going to keep going. If I'm a Bears fan, I am loving that we're winning as he's getting better. That's just added, that's like cherry on the top. If he can continue to get better and they still win, that is awesome.
For sure. And I fully agree. They're going to be okay. Just relax. Calm down. It's 4 weeks. There's 18 of them. 17 games, but there's 18 weeks.
But
calm down.
But Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels is hooping.
Jaden Daniels, we say all that to say,
Yes.
Jaden Daniels is balling.
He's
He is.
hooping.
He is. So this leads us into our weekly Drive to Win segment presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Our Drive to Win. Killer, who do you got this week?
All right, I'm driving. I'm pulling up. I got Jared Goff. 18 for 18, over 250, 2 touchdowns passing. And then he caught one. He said,
got a tub.
Give me that. And then threw it up in the stands. That's a fine.
Yeah,
but
man.
hey, when you got long money like that, it don't matter. He is my offensive player, Drive to Win. I then am going to go to my own teammate, Derrick Henry. Boy, starting it off with an 87-yard rush and then finishing with 199. And the best part about it is he said, I'm going to be sick for a while because I was 1 yard short of 200 and another TD. That's my man. I'm glad he's going to be mad going into Cincy. And then I got to give a little shout out to my third one, Young Wei Koo, game winner down in Atlanta. He's my third one, kicker, game winner. That is a fire feeling. It must be. So those are my 3.
Yeah, he booted it with so much confidence. And I ain't gonna lie, I was watching TV like, come on now, don't do the play action. Give my dog, the game is over. Who cares what happens? Let him get when he stayed in, I was like, they giving him this yard because he know he's a yard away. He was 4 yards away. And I was like, just give him 3 rushes. If he gets it on one, then take him out. But one yard.
1 yard.
Oh, hey, listen, it's all good. Cincinnati got to pay for it. So
all right, G, drum roll.
Here we go.
Who's yours?
My Drive to Win. I just pulled up, this is my first drive. I had to go get the Bugatti for this one.
Ooh.
I had to go get the Bugatti for this one. Somebody's been balling, and it continued on Sunday. My man Kyle Van Noy. Ooh, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, a forced fumble in a key moment in the game. My first Drive to Win is Kyle Van Noy. My dog has been balling. If they didn't try to take my dog's eye socket out in week 1, he might be leading the league in sacks, but he got 6 on the year. He said what he was going to do. It's only going to continue. You know why? This is a Super Bowl champ. He knows what it takes. He knows how to win, and he's going out there and he's leading. My first Drive to Win is none other than my dog, Kyle Van Noy. And then I got to go with the substitute teacher. Joe Flacco.
Ooh,
my dog was sitting there.
Joe.
Y'all know how substitute teachers do. They come in, they just regularly schedule programming. Hey, turn to page 87. Make sure you read all that. Here's your paper. Do this. And then they kick their feet up and they sit back. And they just,
Isn't it turn on the TV though?
Yeah. Sometimes they roll the TV. I'm aging myself. Sometimes they wheel the TV in. They just turn the TV on and kick their feet up, whatever. And that's how Joe Flacco did. Joe Flacco did an interview and he was like, it's not that hard. They just make it so difficult. I see the guy and I put the ball on him. No, it's not that. It's not that easy. You know why he's my Drive to Win? Because Joe Flacco lit up the number 1 defense in football. The Pittsburgh Steelers, you can argue, was the best unit across all football.
Yeah.
They were number 1 in points per game, number 1 in third down, number 1 in red zone, number 1 in yards per game. Like, they were lighting people up, giving up 8 points a game. Averaging 8 points, and Joe Flacco went and put 27 on them. Yeah, Joe Flacco, Drive to Win, for sure. That has been our weekly segment, Drive to Win, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into week 5. Let's see who's going to win and who's going to lose. We'll be right back.
We are back. Week 5 is upon us. We got a lot of games to go through, G. We're going to go through these quickly this week. I cannot wait. We got a good Thursday night game. Your Bucs
yes, we do.
versus the Falcons.
Yes, we do.
I know you're going to take the Bucs, so I'm going to take the Falcons just to go against you. How do you like them apples? How you like them?
Yeah. No, I'm good with it. The Falcons, listen, anybody that's not the Bucs, I probably would have taken the Falcons because they riding the wave of what happened at the end of the game, and they understand they got to get in the end zone, especially versus this defense.
Yep.
The Bucs, they're
playing
riding
good,
the high
though.
as well.
They're playing
They're
good.
riding the high as well, but both teams playing well. I know how Atlanta plays at home, so this is not going to be an easy one on a short week. They don't have to travel. We do. But I'm going with the Bucs on this one.
All right, here we go. Sunday games. Jets versus Vikings. London. Mandam.
Oh my gosh. I want to go with the Jets, but the Vikings just playing too well right now. I cannot not pick the Vikings.
I know. I'm going with the Vikings too.
I'll be okay to be wrong on this one.
Yeah.
And the Jets end up winning, but I'll be wrong to not pick the Vikings. So I got Vikings.
I got the Vikings too. Here we go. Panthers versus the Bears. Ooh.
This is not as clear cut as you would think because
not.
Andy Dalton is still playing well.
Yes, he is.
He's still playing well, but Cincinnati just showed who they were versus them. But at home, I'm going to go with the trend of Caleb Williams getting better, and I'm going to go with the Bears.
I am too. I got the Bears too. Browns versus Commanders. Who we got?
That guy from LSU.
Okay.
I'm going with Dan Quinn, Jay Daniels. I got to go with the Commanders.
All right. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say the Browns. I think the Browns defense is gonna say enough is enough. Dolphins versus the Patriots. Who we got?
I gotta go with the Patriots, man. The Patriots are not playing bad. The Dolphins just too all over the place with me, so I gotta go with the Patriots.
All right. I'll go with the Patriots too. Why not? Here we go. Colts versus Jags. Fighting 0-4 Jags, Colts, Joe Flacco, Richardson. Who's starting? I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to beat you to it. I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm going with the Jags, man.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags.
All right. Bills versus Texans.
This is one of them.
This is going to be a good game.
Texans
last week, Bills last week, Who's going to come? I know the Texans won and goes to that winning while still getting better, but they didn't look like the Texans we've been seeing.
Yeah, and that's kind of 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to go with Buffalo on this
one. I'm going to go with the Texans. I think they'll bounce back. Ravens versus the Bengals. You already know who I'm picking.
Yeah, I'm going with the Ravens too. I honestly thought the Bengals season was over. I picked Carolina to beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
Because I just thought Andy Dalton was going to do enough. The Bengals, they showed me something, but it still was the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
And the Carolina Panthers are not the Baltimore Ravens with a balling Kyle Van Noy and an angry Derrick Henry. God dang. No.
Raiders versus the Broncos. Oh, I like this division matchup. It's going to be a slugfest.
Hear me out on this one. If you do your history, there's certain people who play at certain places and they go crazy. Cam Jordan in Atlanta, he used to kill Matt Ryan every time he touched the field there. Max Crosby's back. I've spoken to him. He's back.
He gonna play?
And he goes crazy in Denver.
You plugged in.
I am going with the Raiders. I'm doing it. I'm doing that. Yes, going with the Raiders.
I'll just throw out why not go? I got to go against you.
It was a game win streak. That's not a bad pick. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, Cardinals versus the Niners. Oh, I feel like this is going to be a good matchup.
It is. It is. The Cardinals, although I'm not off the train yet, I just feel like the 49ers at home are just going to have the advantage. The crowd's going to get behind them. You know, Kyler, he's lost 2 at home. Is not, now he has to go on the road. So I'm going to just go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Niners. I haven't really liked what the Cardinals have been doing on defense personally. So I got the Niners. Okay, Giants versus the Seahawks. I feel like this is going to be a good game too.
Yeah,
Giants
it's going to
traveling
be
to the West Coast.
It's going to be a good game. Daniel Jones didn't play horrible against the Cowboys. He just didn't get in the end zone. So, but I love what I'm seeing from Seattle. They understand that they let one slip through their fingers in Detroit. So I'm going to go with Seattle and the 12th man at home.
Yeah, I like that pick too. Packers versus the Rams. I got the Packers. I'm jumping out.
Me too.
I think the Packers are going to bounce back.
I think the Packers are going to shake back.
Cowboys versus Steelers Sunday night football. Ooh.
You know what? I'm going with the Steelers, man. Listen, the Cowboys, they all over the place. No Micah.
Okay.
No DeMarcus Lawrence. They can't stop the run in the middle. Are
they for show out? Are both of them for show out?
Yeah, they out for at least 3-4 weeks minimum.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you mean to tell me that freaking Joe Flacco just did that to that Pittsburgh defense, and Mike Tomlin ain't gonna have them ready for Sunday night? Man, y'all crazy. TJ Watt didn't break his record. Oh, he breaking it this week.
All right, I'm going to go with the Steelers, too. You just convinced me.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this matchup, though. Monday night football, Saints versus Chiefs.
Yeah. this one not as clear cut as we think. Man.
I'm going with the Saints. Why not?
Yeah,
Derek Carr has won in Arrowhead before.
Bro,
I think they're going to bounce back after last week.
Sometimes you got to go against the trend, and this time I ain't doing it. I'm going with the Saints as well. I just feel like the Saints are going to win this one.
All right.
I think losing injuries, and I just feel like what Kansas City's doing is going to catch up to them. And I like the Saints with this one.
All right. Do we have something next that you would like to talk about?
You know
something
what?
Cool.
You know what? I've been wanting to do this for a while. This is one of my family members. One of my brothers.
Do you have a treat for us and the fans?
We got a special treat for the fans, man. I sat down with one of the greatest of all time, the greatest in the game currently, the Silverback, number 4 overall pick in the 2010 draft, my 06 brother, class of 06, University of Oklahoma, San Francisco 49ers left tackle, Trent Williams.
Oh, that's fire.
I got something for you.
Let's
Sit
go.
back and enjoy this interview. Yo, hey, listen, this is one that I've been waiting for the longest. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all think I pump OU. Y'all think I pump 06. Y'all think I pump the class of 2010. I do that because of people like my next guest, my brother, the pride of Longview, Texas, the Silverback himself, the king of the concrete jungle, my brother, sir. Trent Williams. Welcome. What's up, bro?
Appreciate that, G, man. Appreciate you for having me, baby.
Yeah, man. You one of the greatest, man. I believe you are the greatest. I might be a little biased, but whatever. We gonna get into that. Get into that. This season, I would say, hasn't started as on the up and up as the past couple, but you guys have one of the best teams in the league at weathering the storm. What has been the beginning of the season? What has it been like? CMC is not there. Kittle dealt with an injury. Debo dealt with an injury. What has it been like making that adjustment, and what do you see moving forward? Because I was asked, am I worried about the 49ers? I'm like, of all the teams? Nah, that's injuries, and they'll work that out. But how do you see it, and how's that been?
I think you're right, man. Obviously you want to, this season's so long, and it's such a pro and a con to kind of start off hot, and usually the teams that start off hot, they kind of fizzle out. Everybody go through that period during the season where you may lose a couple games, you may lose a couple key players for a few weeks, and I think every team goes through it, and I think the way you come back from that is very pivotal to how your season turns out. So for us to be having our injury bug and our little woes to be happening in the first quarter of the season, I like that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather that happen now than to, God forbid, get some things going where you're trying to, you get to that November, December, January time where those games really mean twice as much.
Sure.
You want the whole team there. So, I think it's setting up for us to just go get those bumps out the way early. We get a couple more guys back this week, and and the injuries aren't as bad as, obviously no one wants to get hurt, but this is the hurt sport. You can't avoid it. But some of the best careers that we've ever known came from injury.
Right.
A la Tom Brady, even going to most recent, nobody knew who Brock was until we lost two quarterbacks. So, the injury is just a time for younger players to step up and make a name.
And I want to stay right there with Brock Purdy because a lot of people feel like he gets unnecessary scrutiny, and he gets coined as, getting an A on the group project, just kind of riding the wave of the people around him. Do you think he gets unfair scrutiny? And what have you seen that we don't see? I mean, we see him make the throws. We see him making the plays. And with him being inserted into the lineup, you guys have went all the way to a Super Bowl. So what do you see from him day in and day out in practice and during the game that we don't understand, that he's not just, riding the wave or sitting front seat in a Bugatti or however you want to put it. What do you see that we don't see?
I think what I see, and it's evident because I'm there, I'm at work with him every day, is the work ethic, the laser focus, just as serious as he is walking around that building. Our offense is extremely intricate, it's extremely wordy, and it's a lot to process. And you see why he is as good as he is. It's about his processor, how smart he is, how dedicated he is to learning the game plan weekly, how serious he is during walkthrough. And that's why he's a great player. And those all the things that you can't see when you look at him. You don't see that in his height. You don't see that in his build or his stature. So it's hard for people to see that. And I think that's why you get a lot of unfair scrutiny, is because people don't really understand how we could all be so wrong. How could a guy, quarterback is our most coveted position. It's one of the positions where you try not to miss anybody. And not let alone did 32 teams miss them. They missed them 7 times. 31 teams missed them 7 times.
Right.
So I think that's just a byproduct of that. He's getting, scrutiny just because people don't want to believe that we could have been that wrong when we talk about assessing a quarterback.
Yeah, and you talk about how complex his offense is, man. I believe that Coach Shanahan is one of, if not the best play caller in all of football, because I tell people I played against this offense, and it looks like you see all these successful running backs, and I tell them, man, it's not because it's just they're getting all of these guys. Now, these players are good, but because of the scheme, it's very difficult to deal with. Now, you always been great, but it seems like when you got to this scheme, everything just like elevated times 10. And I think a lot of it is because he was able to exploit your true gifts, getting out of space, being able to run, having you pull, putting you in different spots. But not only you, but CMC showed up. You take a guy who's that talented and put him in this offense. But now you got a Jordan Mason who's having a successful season, who's starting off hot. What is it about this offense that makes it go the way it goes? Because all of you guys seem to thrive in it.
Yeah, and one thing that not many people allude to, that we only have one new starter from last year. Even probably going back looking at the last 2 years, there has been very, very little to no turnover when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. So with that being said, a lot of people master their roles already in the offense. And we do play a brand of what I like to call positionless football when it comes to the skill position, which is what makes CMC so dangerous for us, because you don't know if he's the wide receiver, you don't know if he's the slot receiver, you don't know if he's the running back. You just don't know. They line him up all over the place. And when you pair him with a guy like Debo, who is just as interchangeable as he is and can play the same positions, then throw in a guy like Kittle and Juice, and both of those guys can go from tight end on the ball to fullback in the backfield, seemingly at the tap of Brock's foot. So it allows us to be a little more camouflage in our approach. It sucks to match up with it personnel wise, because you don't know if we have 5 receivers on the field, knowing that one of them can be a running back. How do you approach that? How do you rush that? Do you want to blitz somebody with this many weapons on the outside? So right. I think that all is a big combination, and it allows us to always keep the defense off balance a little bit. And we just got the perfect quarterback to attack it. And Cal puts a lot on his shoulders, and he processes it all.
Yeah, he's great, man. And I got one more question for you, then we're gonna get into why you here. Quick story. I'm from Oklahoma City. I was ranked extremely high coming out of high school, and all I knew was Oklahoma athletes. I knew there was some Texas athletes, Florida, whatever. I seen these guys at the All-American game, and I'm like, oh yeah, they cool, but I was doing them bad. Okay, quick story. We went to the gym, and I'm watching this guy Trent Williams windmill and do all this dunking and all. I'm like, dang, I can't do it. I can dunk. I did like the little Allen Iverson dunk. It was, a little basic dunk. But then we went outside. I'm like, well, shoot, he ain't faster than me. Trent is who introduced me to the fact that there are incredible, like I call them mutants, and he's one of those people. I could not beat this guy in a race to save my life. And I'm like, how's this dude this much bigger than me? And he's this fast. And as time went over, he got faster and faster and faster, and he became an even better athlete. But you being an alien is one thing. But your game being at the peak that it's been for as long as it's been, what is the key to your longevity at playing such a high level? Because it's not just your athleticism or your natural gifts. There's a lot that goes into one. You said you got to stay healthy, but even dealing with injuries, shaking back. But Myles Garrett's exists. Max Crosby's exists. Micah Parsons exists. And year after year after year, your play is consistent and at a high level. What has it been when you've been able to keep your play this high for this long?
Honestly, G, man, I think just as much as I do, you can't buy experience.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, me and you at rookie year going into teams that probably wasn't that good, we was thrown in the fire. And we weren't given any opportunity for any red shirt or any development. So I just tell people, man, God has blessed me with hitting the gene pool lottery. Some things that he just blessed me to be able to do that a lot of people can't do. But I think that mixed with my experience and my on the job experience over years and years. And, I've blocked several first ballot Hall of Famers in the prime of their career.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Marcus Ware, you talk about Dwight Freeney, the list goes on. So, you can't buy that experience from anybody. There's no way you can get that experience from working with a coach during the offseason or, get some extra reps after practice. You can't buy that experience. And I think I've just been blessed with the timing of it, with the ability to be able to stay on the field and have health. And God has blessed me to be able to be healthy to play football. So now in year 15, I have all the physical gifts, but all the mental gifts is there as well, and all the storage of memory that I've, amassed over the last 14 seasons. It's all there, and it helps me, stay ahead. And it's between the ears 90% of the time. So
right.
If I can put myself in good position and, I can study, go to school on my opponent and put myself in good position pre-snap, the plays aren't as hard. It's not, the game is not as grueling. It's not, you're not getting beat up as much. When you control the climate in your mind, it makes everything else feels like it's in a controlled environment. So, I know it's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of how I think about it. You know what I'm saying? I just think I'm just a perfect blend of experience and size and speed.
Yeah, and I think it's great for our audience and fans to hear that, and it's incredible to watch. I've been watching it since we was 18, man. And I don't think y'all understand. Sure. Y'all just now seeing it. I've been seeing it since he was 18, so it's no surprise to me. Tell us what you're doing with Campbell's, man. Tell us why you're here.
Oh, yeah, man. So Campbell's, we obviously launched this campaign to feed America.
Yes, sir.
20% of the proceeds from these shirts go directly to Feeding America. And then we got the sacks. They're giving out 1,000 across the league. They're giving out 1,000 meals for every sack amassed across the whole league, which obviously puts me in a bit of a sticky situation because I want to help. I want to help the cause, and I want to help feed families in America and tackle starvation in America, which I know is very important. But, I definitely don't want to see my quarterback on the ground. Even if it does equal 1,000 meals for somebody, so I'm going to just try to hype my guys up across the ball and, tell them to go get after them quarterbacks so we can feed America, man. Yeah,
man. And it is a big deal, especially with living in Florida for 10 years. I still got a house there, and seeing what happened with the hurricane, man, it is a big deal, and it's incredible what you're doing on and off the field. My brother, I love you. I appreciate you doing this. Y'all go out, get those shirts, support. Tell your boys to keep getting after it. I love watching it, and good luck to y'all, man. God bless you and your team, and Mama in the background. I love you. I love all y'all, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Love you too, bro.
All right, dog. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed it. I always enjoy sitting down talking to my brother, man. He's a very interesting guy, very funny guy, and for sure, first ballot Hall of Famer. It's been incredible to watch what he's done over his career. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I look forward to them and their game this week versus the Cardinals. But worst part of the show sucks. We got to get out of here, man. We done took up a lot of y'all's time.
Yeah,
hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode of McCoy and Van Noy.
But it was good.
Man, yeah, it was great.
Sweet.
Killer.
It was sweet. You got to subscribe to us. You got to follow us. You got to watch us on YouTube. You got to tell your mom, your dad, everybody you know. You got to tell them to watch the McCoy and Van Noy show. This is a real show. This is an awesome show. I love working with G. He brings great energy, great just everything about it. Analyst, awesome. He's killing it on NFL Network. He's killing it on our show. Much love, G. You keep doing your thing.
Appreciate it, brother. And we want to hear from you. Voice messages, call-ins, questions, everything. McCoy Van Noy at yahoosports.com. Big shout out to Brett, John, and Addie. We appreciate everything y'all do. We love y'all. The show is going to continue to grow because of the Yahoo Sports McCoy and Van Noy family. We are out. See y'all next week.
Out.